Over the last few days, this thought has been just going through my head over and over again about some lessons that I had when I was in Ecuador. So, a little bit of backstory. In 2021, I was living in Germany. I was doing a service mission for my church, and I woke up with a really, really random dream that I adopted 30 children. And so, my first thought was, I should go live in an orphanage to understand what it's like living with orphans, what it is that they need, what type of issues that they struggle with, how can you help them in those things? Because if I'm going to be adopting, well, I need to be able to understand and learn over a long period of time how I can best help them, right? And so, mind you, 2021, for those who don't know, this was during COVID, obviously. And so I applied to, I think, over about 30 different orphanages in South America: Colombia, Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, and Mexico as well. And then I only heard back from one, the one in Quito, Ecuador. And so they allowed me to come live with them. And so I stayed with them over the course of the course of 7 months. And these are six lessons that really hit hard home for me. And so I wanted to share them with you guys as well. The first being curiosity. So I know in the Bible it says, as if we can only become like the children of God, like the children, right? Like, there's a reason to that, right? There's a reason that Jesus says that. One of the biggest things that hit me when I first got to the orphanage, the first day in the first hour, we get into this eating hall, and I walk in, everybody's eating, everybody's doing their thing, right? And the organization, just to put some context to this as well, they have what these things called tias, which are basically like aunts. And so these are like the three women that are on shift 3 days and then off for 3 days. And they live at the orphanage when they're on shift. So 3 days on, 3 days off. And everybody's eating. The kids are all in the mess hall. They're all eating. I walk in, and I'm just like this brand new, tall white dude. And everybody's just staring at me. And I sit down at the table. And I'm sitting with these on the boys' side, because they split them up, boys and girls. I'm sitting on the boys' side. And these boys I'm sitting next to are just like eyeing me. They just had their food. They're just like straight up dead eyeing me, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what? ¿Cómo estás? Like, ¿cómo te llamas? And they're like super shy, right? They're trying to get the feel for this new white guy that just walked in. And I'm just, talking with them, and everybody is so quiet. Like, I am whispering to these kids because I don't want to be the loudest person in the mess hall. And they are quiet. Little did I know that there is a rule not to talk when eating. Nobody told me that when I walked in. So it is literally all these kids are dead silent, and I have no idea what's going on, right? And I'm trying to talk to these kids. I'm like, get that. Like, just this freaking gringo trying to, talk with these kids that don't speak a lick of English. And so these kids, right after though, because I just thought it was me. I was like, did I just do something wrong? Like, why is nobody talking? Well, right after we get out of the mess hall, all these kids just flock to me, and they're just like, "Hola, tío, me llamo, me llamo," and I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's interesting. And so we start talking, and we're joking, and I am trying to, my ADHD is going crazy. I'm like, with all these different conversations that are going on. And they're like, do you wear this? Do you like this? Oh, what type of sports do you play? You're so tall, Theo. And they're just like going off and on these different things. And I'm trying to like keep a grasp on it. And obviously my Spanish isn't the most amazing thing at this point. Like, it's okay, but it's not like incredible. And so I was just amazed at the curiosity these kids were just showing, and then they were just so like, they want to know every single thing about me. Oh, where you from? Where's Indiana like? Oh, you and I loved it. It was so beautiful. And I was like, I think, like, I felt so seen. And I was thinking, I was like, dude, if every single person was as curious and as loving and outgoing and wanting to talk and like see you for you and understand where you're from, your background, what type of life you've had, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, you know how beautiful that would be? Anyways, I love that. The fact that these kids are just absolutely curious. And so I try and be curious when I'm talking with people. I'm like 10%, maybe 5% of what these kids were. And I just wish that I could be more like them. Anyways, leads me to the second thing, which is the importance of education. So one thing that, like, I just got launched into it, right? So I get there, it's the morning, it's breakfast time, right? And right after this happens, all the tias, they call everybody. They're like, all right, time for classes. Boop. And I said, okay, where should I go? And so they sit me down with 4 other kids. And mind you, this is because of COVID, so that they were doing it online. And so the teacher, so there's different grades, right? In the orphanage, you have a wide variety of ages. You have the youngest was a 7-month-old baby to 17 years old. And so you have that huge span of education, right? And so I was stuck with the 12-year-olds, right? And I got put in the class, and I'm sitting there, and my task is help them learn and understand. If they have questions with homework, blah, 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 help them out, So I'm there. Oh my gosh, these kids are so crazy. They're going everywhere. And to be fair, if I was that age too and I was doing online with, like, it is so loud. The environment is crazy loud. They're just, they're just all yelling. And I wouldn't have been able to concentrate as well either. So, like, I get it, right? And so I'm just trying to be kind of like, hey, but your teacher's talking. You walk into a situation, you still don't understand really how much authority you have, right? So I'm trying to be somewhat of like a good example. Like, yep, your teacher's talking, guys. And so I was just like watching the teacher talk and listening and everything, and I realized that the education, the level of education is extremely far behind. That same day, actually, I was helping one of the oldest girl. Her name was actually, I'm not gonna say her name, but she was 17, and she was asking for help with homework, and I looked at it and I said, "Whoa!" In my mind, I'm not saying this out loud. I said, "This is the type of stuff that we were doing when I was in the 6th grade. She's in like 11th," and it was just so crazy for me to see, like, she didn't really understand basic math, which, to her fairness, it's kind of hard to do that when, and I'll talk about this point later, but like the community doesn't really push education very much. And it was important for me to see that because, like, I had seen how much education, like having that in your family and, motivating to do education, how critical that is, in order for you to even do it. Like, I'm being so for real. She couldn't do basic multiplication. I'm saying like 6 times 5. And she was like, it would take her about 10 seconds to say, 35. And I was like, no. But so that's just like the point is, like, there's crazy levels to it, which actually leads me to my third point, is the community that we're around is, from what I saw, the biggest determining factor of success. So a little bit about this. I told you, like, I went to the orphanage to learn, right? I wanted to learn and understand what it is, how I can help orphans, because I'm going to be adopting. And so it's like, how can I be a better example and light and, whatever type of position I'm in the future, how can I best help, right? And so I obviously was talking a lot with the director of the orphanage. I'm talking with the different tias. I'm asking their different perspectives, their opinions, what they've seen as very effective. And even when I'm talking with like the tias and the directors, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, for example, I was talking to the director, I was asking him, I said, like, hey, like, I see, like, these are the classes we're taking, right? Like, the kids are doing, right? Like, I was talking with these kids about XYZ. Do you guys do that? Do you guys teach skills such as, for example, entrepreneurship or like basic financial like money management classes. And he was like, no, 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 we don't teach that. No, no, no. And I was asking, like, why is that? Like, what is it that you are opposed to with that? And he was, it's just that it's not really important, blah, blah, blah. And then it was the same thing with the tias. When I'm talking with the tias, I'm asking them about, like, what is it that they want to teach them? Are there skills that they think would be helpful for them? And they're like, oh, just cleaning, cooking, taking care of the children. It's fantastic. And I was like, oh, man. It's hard to want to grow if you don't know where you can grow, like what ability you can grow, right? So it just hit home. It's just like, dude, the community, the people, your peers, the ones you're spending all your time with, they are the driving principle, right? And I know that might be sounds like, oh yeah, obviously, it's like the five closest people that you spend the most of your time with, they're the ones who you'll be, and it's true. It is so real, but it also opened my eyes to the fact of like the people that are coming from such a low position. For example, these kids that, even the directors, the psychologists, the tias, the people that are watching out for them, trying to teach them on a daily basis for years, aren't even capable or willing to really help get them in the position to end what I call the circle of hell. This is actually the fourth point. So the circle of hell, what I personally coined this just because like it's what it seemed like to me. The last day that I was there, one of the girls, the one that was 17 I was teaching earlier, she had turned 18 about a week before. And what happened, I didn't know is a thing, is when you're going from the orphanage and you're not adopted or you don't find some type of individual to come take over the responsibility for you, you go to another foundation. And it's kind of like, I guess like the closest thing I would kind of describe it to is like halfway housing in the United States. But like even then, halfway housing is more for like delinquents, right? And so I am not really sure about how that would be in the United States, but it's basically a foundation for orphans that, when they come out of the orphanage at the age of 18, that's when they're first put into this new foundation. And I was talking with her after I'd left, right? I'm asking how the foundation was. I'm following up to see like, what they're learning and all that. She was like, yeah, I wrote my first CV and my resume now. And so now I'm trying to, give it in to jobs so I can become like a cleaning lady. And I said, in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh. The only thing that their foundations that according to her that they were putting her into these super low level positions, and the reason that is because she hasn't been able to grow any skills to do anything outside of those low level positions, because that's the cap that the people have put on her this entire time. And it was just so frustrating. I'm like, what if you were to do XYZ, or have you thought about this and thought about that? She was like, no, not really. But like, I don't think I'd be able to, it's just like, boom, immediate shutdown. And like, I get it. Like, I understand it, but it's so sad to see that. Like, there's that one little metaphor of like, the ticks, right? The fleas. So fleas, for example, they can jump up to 10 feet, right? They jump like, they got a crazy hop. But if you put a flea in a jar and then put the cap on top, cover it, and let the flea jump and jump and jump and jump, and it keeps hitting the cap over and over and over again, once you take the cap off, it won't be able to jump out of the jar because it has put in its mind that that's only as high as it can jump. And so I was just devastated because this circle of hell is so continuous, right? And I say, like, it doesn't end with her. And this is the saddest part about it. I followed up with her a couple months after, and she had left that foundation because she started dating a 28-year-old. Mind you, she's 18. Has crazy abandonment problems, and she's dating this 28-year-old, and she was pregnant. And I just think it's so sad how this cycle just continues over and over and over again. Um, and to be honest, it starts. Well, that's the thing is, you can't. I even for me, it's super difficult to pinpoint where it starts because you can't. Um, but one thing that kind of really, really upset me is about this girl, for example. When I first got into the orphanage, I spent one of the days just working in the greenhouse, right? It was trying to, help with the planting and all the different vegetables that they had and everything. And I'm just chatting with her. It's literally just me and her. We're just chatting, we're talking about life, talking about her experiences, talking about her life story. And she tells me, yeah, my mom um, got pregnant at the age of 16. And I don't want to do the same thing. I want to have a career. I want to be able to have a husband and raise my child appropriately. And when I found out that she was pregnant, my heart just sank because you don't want that for people, that you really come close to. This kind of ties into actually the next point too, which is the family unit. The cycle of hell, I hope, stops with her. But it would not be prudent for me to talk about the situations of how children typically arrived at the orphanage. According to the director and the psychologist that I was talking to, and the Diaz as well, 95% of them are there because of the mother, not because of the father. The fathers typically, by that time, are either in jail, dead, or abandoned them before they were pregnant. Before they gave birth, right? And so these mothers, when they get pregnant so young, and I'm talking young, these mothers will get into alcohol, they'll get into drugs, they'll get into anything to try and, get off, basically, have some type of release. And then there's a lot of issues with neglect, a lot of issues with abuse, a lot of issues with, as sad as it is to say, selling their body, like prostitution, but not even just prostitution for themselves, but also for the children. And this is super important one because it's just a never-ending cycle of how these kids will they'll get absolutely abused, neglected, whatever it is, whatever the cause is. And then they go all these years not learning solid principles to get out of that same cycle of their parents, right? And they just stay in this poor mindset of just like, oh, you can't do this, this is all you worth, blah, blah, blah. Like this is the only value you provide to society, blah, 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 right? There's, no education. They're not provided any other ways to get out of this hell hole, right? And then they just get thrown out into the real world at the age of 18. Oh, now I'm going to start learning how to write a resume. Now I'm going to finally start learning how to apply to a job. And these are the types of jobs I can apply to, even though I have no skills. And then they will typically get with somebody that's older than them. And I say typically because that's statistically what it is it's usually somebody that's older, much older sometimes even, that sees them as something they can use. And then they'll get knocked up. Then usually the father leaves, and then the mother leaves as well. And then they throw the children into the orphanage as well. And so it's just the same stupid cycle that is so disturbing. But that kind of leads me to my next point, which is the last lesson I learned, is this concept of perception. Now, I'm not going to say that my life has been totally beautiful and glorious and just, hoorah, it's not always felt like that, right? In my family, we had issues of neglect. We had the same issues of abuse. We had the same issues of, basically a separated family. A family that, just everybody did their own thing. Everybody had to become independent at a young age. My brother, sorry, very clear, was paying the mortgage at the age of 14, right? It's like 14, 15. It's just like, so I'm not going to say that my life has been extremely easy, but one thing that I've noticed recently, especially in the past year, is, sometimes like in my friend group or with people I'm talking to and I'm getting to know, we'll start talking about life as you do, right? And you'll talk to them, you tell them your story, and they're just like, "Oh, that's so much trauma. That must have been so difficult. Oh, you poor thing, your life's been so hard." And in my mind, genuinely, I'm just like, no, really, it really hasn't. And I don't say that just to like brush it off. I say that because I genuinely don't think my life has been hard. Like, I sincerely feel like my life has just been full of freaking insane blessings. Like, I have no room to complain. Like, I have no room to complain because I wasn't raped from the age of 8 to 14 and then forced to have the baby, and then all of a sudden I'm in the same orphanage as my own daughter, right? Like, I have nothing to complain about because my life has been so good. It has been beautiful. And so I just don't think that, like, when somebody says, "Oh, your life's so much trauma," it's like, not really. No. It's had a couple ups and downs, but like, my life is so good. And I'm not trying to just brush it off and say, I'm trying to be a man and just not think about it. No, it's like, I feel like so many times it's easy to just get lost in our own world of, it's just so hard, it's just so difficult. But it's like, do you really know what difficult is, or are you just trying to like get more attention on you? Like, do you actually know what it's like to have a difficult life? And some people have. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say nobody does or has, right? Obviously, people have. I've lived with them. I've talked with them. I've heard their stories. Like, it's sad. It is detrimental to their mental health, to their personal development and growth. 100%. But I am saying, at least in the communities and people that I've talked to, I hear so much of this. "Oh, my life is so hard. Oh, and I can genuinely promise that that's crap. That's BS. I'm calling BS. Because it has been such a good life, and people just focus so much on this negative stuff that they completely forget how beautiful it is and how good they actually have it. And I promise you that that's true, because I guarantee you, even if those people that are complaining all the time, if they were to be in a situation of somebody so much more difficult than theirs, and the people that have had a crazy difficult situation they're always trying to find the joy, they're trying to be happy, they're trying to change their life, and they're trying to love and just be generous. I think if people understood and saw that side of the world more often, especially here in the United States, man, I wonder how beautiful it would be. To, instead of having people complain about being in such generous opportunities, I wonder how beautiful it would be to have everybody show gratitude for what we have, because I promise you, we don't deserve anything we've been given. We don't deserve anything we've been given. And this whole concept of, "Oh, I deserve the whole world," it's like, no, you don't. You don't deserve anything. You've been blessed. Okay? You've been blessed with a lot of great opportunities, with a lot of great people that are willing to help you and serve you and, help you get along the way and grow. And so I guess it's just it's just become so annoying recently, of just like all these complaints of, "It's just so difficult." It's like, do you really know what that's like? Do you really? Or were you just not able to go buy your own Louis Vuitton last weekend, so you're going to complain? No, man, just... Anyways, so I'm going to get off my high heel right now, or my high horse right now. I know for a fact there's just days where things will slip where I'm just like, that's stupid. Why would I complain about that? And it's because, you do forget. You do forget. And so I'm making this video more so out of a reminder to myself, to be honest. How blessed I am. Like, it is so incredibly amazing to just see how the Lord's hand has been in my life. And I don't have any room to complain. I really don't. It's just so amazing. And so these lessons of working with these children, man, they are just like, they just reinforce this idea, this notion that I need to be more grateful, because I have been able to see how people that have been harmed for their entire life, the kids that have never been able to say the word mom or dad, they literally say tío, tía their entire life, their entire time that they've ever had memories. They only say tío, tío. And it's just like, I have parents I can talk to. I have siblings. I have friends that I can talk to, I can trust, and I can talk about the things of the world, issues, struggles, what type of things I'm looking for, dreams I have. Some people don't. And it's just so beautiful. The education that we have, right? The freaking community that we have, the ability to just not have this circle of hell, and that we have the ability to break that cycle. And it's just so beautiful. Anyway, so I know it's a longer video, but I'm just so grateful for everything. And this is more so of a reminder to myself, because those were the most amazing months of where I just got, backhanded, front-handed every single day, because I was with amazing, beautiful, loving children that just wanted the best for me. And I came across half the world to see them and to serve them, and they were the ones serving me. And I'm not saying you have to go do that, but it is amazing to be able to get out of your own bubble sometimes and get put in something else that is worse, a situation that's worse than yours, just to understand how good we have it. And so, anyways, message to my kids, don't worry. I'll be sending you abroad, because I need you guys to see things like that and just see the world for how it actually is, and see how amazing you guys have it, because you guys have an amazing mother. You guys have hopefully a good father. I mean, I hope I'm doing pretty good as a father. I'm not a father yet, but like when you are there, hopefully I'm able to show you that love and give you the attention that you need to know that you're appreciated, that you're seen, that you're understood, and want to just give you the world. And so, yeah, anyways, that's it for the day. That's my TED Talk. Love you guys.